some that are short, like 1 or 2. So it could be anywhere from, I would say, 1 to 5 credits. Another word for that is units. Sometimes you'll see hours, and it means how many hours per week the course meant, okay? So it's a list of all the courses you took and the credits you earned at a particular high school. So you have a high school transcript, you have a college transcript, you have a university transcript. If where you studied is not in the United States, we call it a foreign transcript, okay? So again, your foreign transcript might be high school, it might be a 2 or 3 year college, what we would consider an associate's degree. This includes, a lot of countries have what they call technical degrees or diplomas. If you took 2 or 3 years full time, it's probably this level, okay, associates. We're on page 5. Sure. And then graduate school could be Master of Arts, Master of Science. What's MBA?
MBA, Management Business.
Master of
Business
Administration.
Administration.
JD. Juris Doctorate, it's a law degree. It stands for Juris Doctorate.
Juris Doctor.
But it's funny, because even though it's Juris Doctorate, we don't call lawyers doctor. Yeah. So, but that's law, MBA business. What's an MD?
Managing Director.
Medical.
He's in finance, that's very funny. In finance, right, so different abbreviations mean different things, right? So in a company, that job title might be managing director, but this is your diploma from graduate school. If somebody says, I have an MD, or I am an MD, it's a medical doctor, okay? PhD is Doctor of Philosophy, but it could be in any subject. You can have a, what's your PhD in, Robert? Finance?
No.
Business?
Applied mathematics.
Applied mathematics, okay. So you can have a PhD in any subject, psychology, public health, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes, instead of being just called a PhD, it has a more specific name, like a PsyD, P-S-Y, right, is a psychology doctorate. And then there's an EDD, which is an education doctorate. So sometimes they're more specific, but most of the time they are PhD, okay? So maybe you have a transcript for all of these. Usually the good news is, if you have anything above a high school, if you have associate, bachelor's or master's, you never need to show your high school. But if your highest level is a high school diploma, then you really need that transcript. And at the picnic on Saturday, thanks you guys who came to the picnic. Yay, we had a really good fun time at the picnic. Carol was there. Someone from another class said, oh, Ms. Corey, I'm so frustrated. I'm trying to get my high school transcript from China, but I graduated like 35 years ago. But she needs it to get into a program here. No, it was to apply for a job. And she had like an associate or technical degree, but she didn't have that diploma physically either. So if it's a long time ago, it's hard. So those of you that are still young, get that transcript now. You know, go back home or get them to, often if you went to college recently, there's an electronic record. You can just contact them and they can email it to you, right? Sometimes if it's a long time ago, you have to go in person, or someone else can go, you can write a letter and sign your name. But I had a woman from Nicaragua, and she had a medical diploma from Nicaragua, but the university had closed. And so she had such a hard time. She had contact with a former professor who was gonna like verify. She had the physical diploma, but she didn't have this transcript. So I don't know what happened, whether I should email her to see if she got it. But the sooner you get it, the better. If you're a little bit older like me, it's not impossible, it's just a little bit hard. Okay. So transcript is different than your diploma, right? The diploma is just the one piece of paper that says you graduated, here's your degree, right? You really need to get the transcript, especially if you want to go to school. If you're applying to any kind of bachelor's or master's or graduate program here, you'll need the transcript. If you want to get your license, you'll need the transcript, like a medical license or a pharmacy license, right? You'll need the transcript itself. Some jobs, you might just be able to show the diploma or even just put on your resume, they're not gonna check. But if you're trying to go to school or you need to get a license or a credential, a teaching credential, they need to see the transcript, okay? So I just recommend for everybody, I would try to get it. Start the process of getting it, because there's a very good chance you will need it at some time here. So you can have so you get your transcript from your country, and then you have what they call evaluated. Evaluated means the state of California is gonna look at what are the requirements for a bachelor's in math, for example, from the state of California. And they're gonna look at all the courses, the number of requirements, elective credits, etc., and they're gonna compare that to what you have. Here's my nursing diploma from Korea. What does a nursing diploma from the United States look like? Okay. Here's my pharmacy master's from Japan. What is required in the US? And they compare in California. Usually if it's evaluated, it's valid in California, it will count, the diploma itself will count in every other state. So it's not like you have to do that part again. Your license from California might not count, but your degree, your bachelor's, your master's, once you do it in California, you should be good. So it's called evaluated, okay? And what it means, it's like validated, right? Is my diploma valid in California? So even if the state does not recognize your complete degree, so sometimes like we might require more courses. You say, well, I went to this nursing program when I was 16 for 2 years. California might look at it and go, that's not really enough for an associate's, or that's enough for an associate's but not a bachelor's. So sometimes you'll get credits for some classes, but not everything, but you only need to take 2 or 3 more classes. So it's still worthwhile. The same thing with a high school diploma. They get the high school diploma, they may say it's not quite enough, but you only need 1 or 2 more classes. Usually the high school diploma, they're gonna count it. If your country says you graduated secondary school, high school, they usually count it. So, okay. This can save you both time and money as you work to achieve your career goals. So I've known students that are like, they take my class and then they go and they take the high school diploma classes here. And I'm like, you have a bachelor's degree in your country. Why are you taking high school diploma here? You don't need it. If you're taking it because you want to learn about US history or you want another English class, oh, Yen, you can come up and get yours. I'll give it back to you. We're looking at page 5 in here. Nice job. So if you're taking high school diploma classes here for another reason, like I want more practice with English writing, or I want to learn about US history or US government, or I have a student now, Julie, some of you met her at the picnic, she helped organize it. She has a bachelor's in psychology from Taiwan, and she wants to go into nursing, so she knows she has to take a couple of chemistry classes as a prerequisite to nursing. She hasn't had chemistry in like 10 years, maybe more. So she's taking high school diploma chemistry as a refresher, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense, but she doesn't need to take all the high school diploma classes. There's a lot of classes you could take. So, and I saw another student, Arshak, and he's like, I'm like, you have your high school diploma from Armenia, why are you doing it here? And he said, he's like a little older than me, he's like, I can't get it from Armenia, it's too much trouble, right? I'm not planning to go back to my country, plus I can learn some English, I'm just gonna do it here. Okay, that's fine. But if you're in a hurry, you wanna do a master's program, don't go back and start with a high school diploma, you know? You don't need that whole program, okay? Okay, you will hear people talk about high school diploma, so you'll see it sometimes like this, high school. In adult school, you'll see adult high school diploma, adult high school diploma. That's what our program is called here at PCC. Okay, at the CEC we have this. It doesn't matter whether you actually got it from a high school when you were 18, okay? So this is from age 14 to 18, right? This is after age 18. So if you don't finish in high school by the time you're 18 or 19, that's it. You can't keep going to high school, regular high school. But you can go back and do adult high school diploma in an adult school. An adult school is part of a K-12 district. So like Rosemead, El Monte, Rosemead has an adult school. Mie, that's where you went, right? Okay. Pasadena doesn't have an adult school, but some districts do. LA Unified has a very big adult school program. In addition to the adult schools, the community colleges offer this, or a community college. So students are coming here, this is part of PCC, it's a community college, but they're getting their high school diploma. Does that make sense? It's just we offer the classes to them as a service to the community. Okay, so these are two options, and you have to take a certain number of classes. I don't know, I'm just gonna say 5 classes for a whole, what would you do in high school? 5-year-long classes, maybe 20 classes, but it's gonna be like 160 to 200 units, and these are hours that the courses meet. So in regular high school, it takes 4 years. In adult school, if you're starting with 0, it can also take 4 years. Sometimes you start, you have some credits. You show your transcript from your country and you have some credits. Okay, so these are, if you're taking classes, you get your high school diploma. There's an alternative called GED. You'll also hear it called high set, there's a bunch of them, etc. They're high school equivalency degree. Equivalency means it's equal to high school, but you take a test. Take a test to get high school equivalency. So you didn't finish high school in your country, you want to get your high school diploma quickly, you take this test. Okay, and it's the same, it counts the same in almost all jobs, not all jobs, almost all jobs, it counts the same. So people would say, do you have a high school diploma? No, I have my GED. Okay, my general, it stands for general equivalence, no, general education diploma. Okay.
It's necessary to get a HSD to go to the college.
It depends on the college. Some colleges will accept the GED, some will accept high school.
Oh, yeah.
It's better if you have the time probably to get high school. But it just, you have to ask wherever you want to go to college, ask them.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay if I have my GED, or is it, I mean, which one is better, or which one is okay? I have a student, she's on the student success wall, Amanda, in the top in the blue scrubs, and she had an associate degree from China, but she said, you know what, I want to get another associate degree here in diagnostic medical sonographer, the ultrasound tech. And she said, I don't want to try to get it evaluated. I'm going to take the GED here and then apply for this new associate degree. Plus, we have GED prep classes. So the classes for GED, they're preparing you for the exam. It's a big exam. You take like a 3-hour exam in, I think it's English, math, history, and science, 4 or 5 areas. Has anyone taken GED classes here? So we have classes to prepare people for the GED exam. So you can take them also, but they try to get people that really want to take the exam. Okay? Does that help understanding GED versus high school? Because you probably hear people talk about it here, right?
Yeah. The other day I asked the teacher is the GED preparation. She said this one must be more. You prepare it for the test.
Yeah.
And she said it's very helpful if you already get high school from your country.
Yeah.
You don't need to do high school.
You don't need to do high school again. Yeah. But if you already have a master's degree, you don't need it.
Don't need high school.
Unless again, unless you just want some math review, these classes tend to be faster than these. So because they do all the math in one semester. High school diploma might do algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, like each semester a different subject. But if you're like, oh, I want to go back, let's say you don't have a master's in public health, you need some math, right? It's a nice review. Okay. So you want to get your transcript from your home country evaluated. You will need to provide a certified, meaning an official copy of the transcript, right? They put some like stamp or some seal on it. Plus, you have to have a certified translation into English. Sometimes the transcript is in English, but if it's not, you want to get it certified. On Canvas, there's a link to agencies, I'll show you, that evaluate transcripts. So even though ultimately it's the state that makes the decision, basically the state wants you to go to an agency and pay, because the agency knows the format. They know exactly how to send it in. If everybody individually is trying to send it to the state's like, oh my God, this one's in Thai, this one's in Korean, like I can't understand, all the formatting's different, the language is different. So by going to the agency, it makes them more standard. You have to pay a fee, but it's the best way to do it. So the agencies are accredited, National Association of Credentials Evaluation Services, but then check with the specific, if you have a specific school, employer, or licensing agency, let's say you want to be a doctor, a teacher, a nurse, where you want to submit, see if they require. Some schools will say you have to go to one of these 3 agencies. If you're not right now applying to a school, then just pick anyone on this list, and I'll show you the list. If you want to be a teacher, for example, they have their own list. And then there's another list if you want to be a preschool teacher. I think Charlotte, you provided the medical doctor. Which ones? Well, did you do it for MD transcript evaluation or no? No. Okay, that wasn't included. They do charge a fee. The fee might be anywhere from $95 to $200. Usually it's cheaper for high school. And then they will ask you, there's a form you fill out. Do you want basic, just the name of the degree, high school diploma, or do you want comprehensive, course by course? If you're trying to get into a master's program, further education, or even an associate program if it's different from what you studied, or certification, credential, you want this detailed report. It costs more money, but it's going to give more information. It's going to show the specific classes. So I would recommend this. The other thing, I don't mention it here, I would order more than one copy of this official report, because you might want to send it to different places. Okay, so let me show you where it is on Canvas, and I really recommend that you do this, because you don't want to be applying for a job, you get a job interview, because this happened to me when I was applying for teaching jobs. I didn't know I had to get my transcripts from my bachelor's and my master's and my law degree. I'm like, I'm not going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be an English teacher. Anywhere you went to school. I'm like, I shouldn't have told them I had this law degree. And then I had to contact each school, they had to mail them. So it can cause it, and I'm from the United States, like I didn't have to get them translated or anything, or evaluated. It can just take time. Yeah.
I have a question about that. Any report of the transcript has has an expiration date or something like that?
I don't know. It shouldn't. But I think I haven't done it in a long time. I know I asked for multiple copies of just my transcript from my colleges, and they do put the date when they seal it. So I got a bunch done when I first started teaching, and then when I didn't get my master's for a while. When I went back to get my master's, they're like, this is 2000, it's 2008 now. You might need to get another one. But it's just a copy. It's like just, it's cheap. It's like $10 to get another copy at that point. So you could ask them when you talk to the agency. So where did I put this? How to get your form. So it's on the home page. how to get your foreign transcript evaluated. So this is the same information, but I have the links,
Continue step.
okay? So this is from the PCC website, but these are part of National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. So these are legitimate organizations. So you want to go to one that's part of this, rather than just something, if you Google transcript evaluation, you see some company that's like cheap. Transcript evaluation is $30, right? They might not be legitimate. They may not be accredited. Some of them are in California, some of them are in New Jersey. I don't think it really matters. I'm assuming they have websites, so you would probably, at this point, you would need to Google. This one I know people have used, and then you could just Google it. Here it is. Okay. Credential evaluation, decide, apply, send, receive. So they explain it. Some of them you can scan your documents into PDF and send them in. Some of them you have to mail them. But you could call them and ask for help. Okay. All right. So this is the list on the PCC website. And then like here's the California teacher credential list. So a lot of them are similar. Where was that one we just saw? IER. They all sound really similar. ECE, ERES, FCAC. All these are really, this is the one, right? We just looked at this one. So you'll start to see the same names in a lot of places. Okay. So that was teaching. This is LA Unified. If you specifically want to apply in that school district, they have their own list. And it always will say foreign transcript evaluation. And then I gave a sample. Here's a sample application. So this was for one in Beverly Hills, and it shows you the application, your academic history, where you want it now. And here's that choice. Do you want a basic report? Do you want a comprehensive report? This is for some specific business, accounting. So if you want to get your accounting degree. And here's if you want an extra official report. But again, you could call them and say, you know, how long is this valid for? Do I need more than one? So there's a lot of different fees, payment, et cetera. Okay. And the counselors here in room 105 should help you with it. If you have questions, you can ask them as well. And then I did have a student last semester that used this service. She had no problems with it. So like, I don't know, because I've never done it. So I can't say this service is good, this isn't. But she did say, I used this one, it was good. But you want to check and make sure that wherever you're trying to use the transcripts for, it's accepted. Okay, questions? No? A lot of information. Has anyone already done this? Mia, did you get your? Yeah, you did. For both your bachelor and your master's? Do you remember the name of the service that you used?
I don't remember, but it's in the Long Beach or
Long Beach, okay, yeah, I saw that one that they listed in Long Beach. This one maybe? Yeah. And how much did they charge you? How much did they
I don't remember.
You don't remember, okay, but it was pretty easy. No? She's laughing.
And yeah, it's easy.
But you were successful, you did it. You did it. And they validated both your bachelor's and your master's. Okay.
But when I applied the pharmacy technician license, I couldn't use my evaluation transcript. They need a diploma.
They need both.
No.
No, they
Only-
need your diploma
only
for
diploma.
your technician course here.
Yeah. License.
Yes.
Yeah. They require only the diploma. So I had my transcript evaluation, but
You didn't
couldn't
need
use
it.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't
couldn't
need
use
it, yeah. So sometimes so Mia's, her level in Japan, she had a bachelor's and a master's in pharmacology. But when she was applying for her license here, the pharmacy technician, they don't need that. They need a specific course that you take in California. So she needed just to show that. So she has extra. But you don't know, someday you might be working as an assistant, a pharmacy technician, and they're like, oh, we need a pharmacist. And then you're like, here's my diploma. I mean, you'd still probably have to take the exam here to get the license here, but at least you have that. It's not a waste. It's not a waste, right? At some point you might need it. But it depends. If you're applying for a job that's below your, like maybe you have your bachelor's or your associate in accounting, but the job here requires a specific certificate, they might not even care that you have it. But it always looks good on your resume, right, to put it in there. And you never know in the future when you're going to be applying for a job that requires that associate or bachelor's degree. So I think it's worth it, personally. That's my opinion. Okay, shall we take a stretch break? Yes, a real break? Okay, come back in 10 minutes. Okay, if you have questions about your